Welcome back to another edition of the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex Fortyfive. And tonight, man, we're going to have some fun because it was a crazy race weekend between World Superbike and MotoGP. Before we dive into it, let's bring in the guest for tonight. TJ, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. How you doing, man? Patriots won, so I know you happy.
Oh, yeah. We're doing good. I mean, it's still early. We're 5-2, but, what can I say? Besides that, racing was a great weekend overall. It's a little bittersweet, though. I must say, Moto America is done. Now World Superbike is done, so it's just MotoGP we're looking forward to. All our champions are crowned, so, it's just now we're looking forward to just see what these riders can put on the show for the last couple of races. So
no doubt. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say about World Superbike and MotoGP because I know that it was fun for me to watch. Let's bring in Luis Ortega, the numbers guy. I mean, I think you were making it rain, Luis, this weekend. How you doing?
I'll tell you what, man. A lot of my picks earned me some cash.
See?
I went online. I posted a little bit of money here and there, UFC as well as motorcycle racing, and I did pretty well this weekend.
All right, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. And all is well. MotoGP was entertaining. World Superbike was entertaining, and you made some cash. So it doesn't get better than that for sure. We got a 3-peat tonight, but we're going to hold it down and have some fun on this show called Be Forever Cool. So, fellas, as I can get my my situation to work, which is unfortunate, but now I think I got it figured out. Look at that technology, gotta love it. I feel bad for AWS because they sure slowed down.
They down.
Talk about 1 point of failure, but not on this show. What's going on, fellas? I don't even know where to start because World Superbike was huge down to the last race. Some controversy in there, a little bit of Rossi-esque Marc Marquez in the Super Bowl race in World Superbike. So I don't even know where to begin, but I guess let's begin there because Top Rock is going to be coming over to MotoGP. What a way to go out. I think Boulaga should automatically go to MotoGP with him because next year I think he might fall asleep in first place. So what are your thoughts, TJ, on World Superbike? What Top Rock has done, got a 3-peat, 2 different manufacturers. BMW's looking serious. Now, before you start, TJ, I want to say this because, I'm sitting here like Rossi's over here winning on a BMW in Indianapolis, right? And I'm sitting here, BMW wants to come to MotoGP. Can we see VR46 on a BMW MotoGP bike in 2027, or you think they're gonna stay with Ducati? Food for thought. What are your thoughts on what Top Rock did?
I mean, before I jump to Top Rock, I've been saying we need another manufacturer in MotoGP. I mean, I know some have disappeared for their odd reasons, but we need another manufacturer in MotoGP. So that would be pretty cool to have BMW in there. But Top Rock's amazing, man. To have a Turkish rider just pretty much dominate, we don't really see these type of riders often. And to have a third championship too with BMW with is pretty impressive. Not see it often. But just class act, and it's just his effort, and he still was braking with the wheel up in the rear, and I can just imagine just being passed by a rider and then their wheels in the air. I think I have target fixation, and that'll just disrupt me a little bit. So, Top Rock has a game plan, and it worked to perfection. And I think he probably wanted to put the clean sweep in for this weekend, but Boulaga gave him a little check, just to say, hey, I don't give a F, I'm trying to win this too. So he kind of a little backed off a little bit. And still make sure he can bring it home, because if he let it slip, he probably would let the championship slip too.
Right,
so,
right. Go ahead.
But it was great to see. It was a overall good weekend performance from Top Rock and Bulaga.
No doubt. Lewis, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, pretty impressive. Top Rock just had to keep it upright. It was a little controversial, that little love tap that Bulaga gave Top Rock, and the BMW went down and he went down. We saw Bulaga say that's not how, it's not one of his best races. It's not the way he wants to win, which is the proper thing to say. But watching him all season, he's a stand-up dude from what I can tell. I don't know him personally, but from what I can tell, what are your thoughts on what Top Rock did? 2 championships for BMW. Is this enough for BMW to, start to thump their chest a little bit, or should they be grateful because, it may be tough in the future?
I mean, on the BMW front, I think they should be very grateful that they had the opportunity to work with somebody with the talent like Top Rock for the 2 years he was there, because there's been a lot of other asses in that BMW, and nobody's been able to win a championship. So to win 2 back-to-back on a bike that's never won before, that in itself tells you 2 things: that BMW has come a long way, but that they got the right rider on the bike. Because there's been a lot of riders on the BMWs. If you go back through all the years that they've been in World Superbike, you're talking ex-MotoGP riders, ex-MotoGP, ex-Moto2 champions, ex-125cc champions, 250cc champions. There's been a lot of riders that have been through the BMW wood chipper, and they came out on the other side, beat the fuck up. They didn't come out champions, Marco Melandri, the guy's super talented MotoGP rider, champion in multiple different classes, everything up. He couldn't get the bike to win on a regular basis. He couldn't bring a championship. Scott Redding, he couldn't bring a championship. I mean, again, it's a long list. BMW's been doing this for more than a few years now. I mean, when they first came out, we kind of made fun of them as like the new generation GSXR because they were cheap. You can get a lot of horsepower, and everybody was buying them because you can get insurance really cheap because insurance companies didn't realize that BMW S1000 was actually a sport bike. So they were still insuring it as a sport touring bike. Right. So everybody was getting 1000s because you can get full coverage for a year for like $600. And then as soon as about 50,000 of those things got totaled, insurance companies were like, wait a second, this shit ain't no touring bike. And the prices went up on insurance. But I digress. This is a little side rant from BMW when they first launched to where they're at now. Mm-hmm. And they are a powerhouse, in the leader bike market, they are a powerhouse. And I'm glad that they finally got this monkey off their back. But again, man, it was with Top Rock, and he's not your normal rider. And I don't see anybody else in the paddock that's going to be able to slip into his shoes on a BMW, less any other bike, and compete with Bulaga. Because look what Bulaga did this weekend, man. He knew he had to show up and he had to win 3 races in a row. And he put in the work. I mean, that Super Pole race, controversy aside, I mean, he put in the work, man. He won the races he needed to win. He had the Super Pole issue. Again, man, the way you look at things sometimes, you might say it's dirty, you might say it's this, you might say it's that. I mean, I love to bust on Ducati guys. It's in the owner's manual. If you're losing, fuck everybody else's race up because you're on a Ducati and you can't win.
That's a long time ago kind of talk right there, Lewis.
I don't know, man. It seems this year a lot of people riding Ducatis were like, oh, wait, where's that old manual where since I can't win, let me fuck it up for everybody else?
We can't speak for what people do on Ducatis. That's all I'm just saying. For Bulaga, go ahead.
Bulaga did his part. Even if they didn't have that incident, like Bulaga, technically, I think would have won all 3 races, man. Even without the incident, I think he would have won all 3 races and he would have walked away. And now he's probably kicking himself in the ass because he was like, man, that one incident cost me the championship. I mean, there's a lot of things we were talking about before. He lost by 13 points, man. Yeah. At the end of the day, you know how many DNFs he had because his bike blew up or chain broke or this happened or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not like he was in the kitty litter all the time. Like most of the times when he didn't finish on the podium or in the top step, it was a mechanical issue or just Top Rack was on that next level.
Right, exactly. I was going to bring that up. Does Ducati, kind of owe Bulaga a little bit of apology because if those things didn't happen, it could have been different. And so it's going to be very difficult next year for riders, I believe. But we don't know what that V4R double-sided swing arm is going to do yet. So, I think they like it. But TJ, what are your thoughts on, Bulaga's misfortune as far as the bike issues, as we were talking about off here and stuff like that? You got to tell it to the masses now.
Yeah, I mean, like, every rider, I feel like, mechanical, you have your mistakes, both sides, rider and your mechanics. So, I don't know, going into everybody wants to be perfect, but I feel like Bulaga was pretty much perfect all season. Like, he did what he had to do. So, mechanics, I feel like, had a few slip-ups here and there. So I do think as a team, they all owe each other an apology. Like, at the same time, they all do it together. So you can't really put full blame on the mechanics for just slipping up here and there, for him just losing by 13 points, But at the end of the day, like, it just goes to show, like, how much, you have to be on point with everything going into every race weekend, both sides,
Right.
So.
Now, I'll bring Lewis in. Where you at there? There you go. What BMW has done, because Top Rock had issues in the beginning too. He was coming in there flipping over tables in the beginning of the season as well on the 25 bike and stuff like that. From a team perspective, BMW got two. Ducati has what they have. They got a gang as far as World Superbike. Was the team of BMW better? Or just Top Rock was just able to ride around the problems of the BMW because, Ducati, they struggled, the team struggled, and so did BMW, but obviously Top Rock came out with the championship. So what are your thoughts on, the team as far as BMW versus Ducati and who was able to recover better? Or is it just, again, like I said, Top Rock just has the better feel on the bike regardless of how that bike ride?
I think it's definitely Ducati because if you look at what the standings are, who's number one, BMW, who's number two, Ducati, who's number three, Ducati. Mm-hmm. Where's Top Rack's teammate? Like number 8?
Yeah, something like that. He's down there.
Yeah. There's a lot of Ducatis between Top Rack and the next BMW. And not because there's not a lot of BMWs on the grid. It's just Top Rack's able to do something with that bike that other guys haven't been able to do. And it's going to be interesting to see, when these new guys come in to take Top Rack's place and change the team up and this new face that the team's going to have. Let's see where BMW's at next year. Maybe they can get something together and still be good, but Ducati overall has the better team and Ducati has overall the better package. And anybody who thinks otherwise is out of their mind. And as far as having a conventional swing arm, that makes Ducati more dangerous, not less dangerous. Because guess what? You know who won like 5 or 6 Superbike championships between 2000 and 2008 when they had a conventional swing arm?
Yeah.
It's an Italian bike.
Oh, yeah. 999.
And 999 cleaned up a lot of people's clock when everybody was like kind of writing off Ducati because they went to this weird looking bike with a conventional swing arm. And what happened, man? They started winning championship after championship after championship after championship. Neil Hodgson, Troy Bayliss, these guys cleaned up between 2001 and 2008. So now you're going to put a stronger motor with a better swing arm. It's not a sexier swing arm. Like that's the one thing that pure Ducati guys, you're losing the single-sided swing arm. You're getting the performance. You're getting incredible performance. A conventional swing arm makes the bike so much more stable.
Yeah.
Gives you so much more power.
I don't know if I'm a full Ducatiist or whatever, but I do like the double-sided swing arm.
Nice. It's sexy. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's sexy.
It sure is.
It's real sexy. But for performance, conventional swing arm is going to help you put that power down a lot better than a single-sided swing arm.
Right. So, do you think that, and we'll move on a little bit with World Superbike and get into MotoGP. What are your thoughts on the celebration? It's tricky when, Bulaga won the last 3 races and you did your best, but you didn't win the last 3 races. What are your thoughts on Top Rack celebration? Is it the same when you don't win, but you win the championship? And again, you kind of also got to know, like, look, if these things didn't happen for Bulaga, it would have been different too.
Yeah, I mean, like Bulaga, you could just see it in his face. Like he wasn't satisfied. I mean, he obviously did the best he can. But Top Rack had to celebrate his championship. So, I mean, he put on a little show, which is pretty cool. I mean, at the end of the day, it's for the fans at this point. So it was good for him to put on a nice little rolling burnout and then, a little circle burnout and all that good stuff. I don't know if you have to pay fines for that, but I don't know if it like hurt Bulaga's feelings or anything, but at the same time, he was just celebrating and that had to be done. But you can see it in Bulaga's face. Like he really had no way to celebrate because at this point it was for the championship. So
right. I mean, how you gonna top that burnout that Top Rock did?
Right. You can't top that.
You can't top that. What are your thoughts, Lewis, on the celebration? And I appreciate the theatrics that these riders put into their celebration and stuff like that, but I think they need the event planner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where he came up with this celebration. I'm sure somebody likes Marvel movies or something like that, but it was fun. It was funny to watch it and stuff like that. It just shows a little bit of levity. I mean, the motorcycle season is a long time with a lot of stress. So if you get a moment to do something fun or something funny, I mean, take the opportunity because there's not too many that come around when you can kind of let off that steam. Mm-hmm. As far as him celebrating, I mean, if you finish 10th place and you still win a championship, you still win a championship. You get to celebrate because you still put in the work for the entire year. And all right, let's say he tried to win the race and then he crashed. We'd be here talking shit about, is it dumbass? Should have just settled for 10th place. Settle for 10th place. Do what you got to do to win the big picture. Don't worry about the little picture because you're in the last race of the year. You don't need to win it. If they tell you, look, all you need to do is come in 10th or better, I'll go for 3rd, 4th, 5th. I'll even drop all the way back to 8th if I had to. I don't know if I dropped to 10th because now it's getting sketchy. But I wouldn't do anything risky. And then after what happened in the Super Bowl race, even that I'm probably was weighing on his mind a little bit. He was like, you know what? Let me stay away from this guy because he's riding at a different level. Not that he's doing it intentionally, but it already happened once. If I put myself in that position again, it might happen again. So let me stay away from him. Let me stay away from this other guy that I already know is kind of an idiot. Like that last race when you're in that position, you're thinking about a lot more than just corner to corner. Like you got to be very strategic and stay away from the people that aren't there to help you and might be there to harm you.
Right. And, he's not going to be there next year. So it is a fitting way. And I take it back. He doesn't need an event planner. I realize like at the racetrack, this kind of thing happen all the time. There's just not on national TV.
Yeah. But no, it's a good way for him. Like I'd said last week, whether Bulaga wins or Top Rack wins, I'm happy for both of them. But Bulaga now coming to MotoGP as the reigning World Superbike champion, at least that puts him kind of up there with like that Ben Spies. Because I think the last guy who actually did this was Ben Spies.
Top Rack, you mean?
Well, Top Rack going to MotoGP, yeah. It puts him in that rare era with Ben Spies, the last World Superbike champion that went to MotoGP.
Right.
And Ben Spies was able to get a couple of W's.
He was. I mean, for him, I mean, it was staying healthy, right? I mean, that's the issue. I think if he was healthier, I was able to stay healthy or recover, I should say, better. It would have been different. He would have had definitely more wins. What are your thoughts, guys, as far as next season? I think Honda, Honda should have kept Ika Lukuono and Chavi. Because those guys were making progress. They could get in the top 5. And I think, starting with 2 new riders, not to say that, these guys can't come up to speed very quickly. I don't understand the thinking in what Honda has done. It's great for Ducati. It's great for Yamaha because they got 2 experienced guys as far as in Moto2, MotoGP, and on different manufacturers coming over to their team. So, I think it's a win-win for those manufacturers. But what are your thoughts on what Honda is doing by getting these 2 new young guys from Moto2 or in MotoGP? Because Cat was a MotoGP rider.
I mean, the expectations must be really high. I mean, hopefully it's about the interior, like inside the paddock, opposed to putting out on the track. Because I mean, I think you always want to keep someone with experience around, So to get rid of two riders that are top 10, definitely, it's hard to just guarantee that you're going to get 2 new riders just because of their experience. That's just going to get you back in the same point. So I don't know if it was just the camaraderie and interior with like the team where they think these 2 new riders will be better off as coaching and getting things done. But I don't know. Honda always has something up their sleeve. I'm sure they always can work something out. And I think for Chantra, that it would be much better suit for him going into the situation too. So I'm excited to see what he can pull out. I mean, I feel like he was just thrown into the fire going into the GP when he was having such a good year in Moto2. So
if I'm Sam Cat, I want to stay in MotoGP. Come on, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, him finishing last place is MotoGP. No disrespect to World Superbike, but it's still a much better life if you're a MotoGP rider than a World Superbike rider. No disrespect to these World Superbike riders. Lewis, what are your thoughts? Honda need to save some money. I mean, what are we talking here?
No, if they wanted to save some money, like this isn't the way to save money. I mean, they should have kept at least one of the 2 guys. Either, if you look at their progression over the last couple of years with the riders that they have now, they've shown incremental increases in their performance.
Right.
Incremental. And now this year, they've actually been competitive on more than a few occasions where they've been in the top 6, top 5. I mean, they're really getting to the front of the pack here. And it's like, just as you're getting to the front of the pack, you're going to get rid of your riders.
Right.
And it's like, the package might be there, the bike might be there, but it's one of 2 things. Are they tired of these small incremental gains and they want to find somebody that can do those big leaps that these 2 other riders couldn't do? Or, is there something with these 2 riders that didn't gel with the team where they just want to kind of like clean house and start over with some fresh riders and some new ideas? Because again, they're tired of this slow incremental. They believe they have a package that can do a bigger leap, and maybe they've kind of maxed out the potential with the riders that they have.
No, man. That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right when you look on paper of who the riders they're at and where they're going. Like, they're not going to Moto3. They're moving on to other bigger factory bikes.
Yeah, they didn't go to, no disrespect to BSB, but they didn't go Scott Redding way.
Yeah, they didn't get Scott Redding. So again, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know if it's a money thing. You don't know if it's a management issue. You don't know if it's a personality clash, where maybe the riders aren't getting along with the team manager or the director or this or that. Right. Whatever the case is, Honda decided this direction we want to go. We want to go with these 2 guys from this other class. We want to bring them here, and we want to give them an opportunity to try to get the Honda street bike back up to the front of the grid. And I hope it works out for Honda. I truly do, because I do want to see them. I want to see them on the podium on a regular basis again, man. You know, I'm an old school Honda guy. One of my first bikes ever was like a brand new Honda. Like my first brand new bike that I actually went to a dealership and bought was a Honda. Everything before that was used, secondhand, third hand, fifth hand, eighth hand. Sometimes came without keys. I don't know where those came from, but
hey, got me on the track.
But it got me on the track.
Before we move on to World Superbike, guys, the WCR concluded as well. Maria Herrera won. Unfortunately, Ana Carrasco didn't race this year. What are you guys' thoughts on? I don't know how much of that you guys got to catch up on. Year 2, the WCR, the championship, what Yamaha is doing with their R7 and this class. You know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually didn't really see much of it this year. I mean, I do feel like when they first started, I think last year, the year before, it was promoting much better. You know, like I was looking forward to it. I kind of like sort of missed out with so much racing going on of watching the ladies ride. But for them to be into it with the R7, I think is still pretty cool. Hopefully to continue it. And just looking at Maria Herrera setting the example, just with her skill level, it's good for her to, you know, set the stepping stone for this class. So it was good to see her win the championship. I'm sure it was, I didn't see the race, so I'm just sure it was a good farm race, but it's good to see that R7 running pretty well.
Okay, that's what's up. No, it's definitely great to see, and I hope it continues. And I hope we get some other names from some of the other classes as far as females to get into the class. What are your thoughts, Louis? I know you want to know what it costs.
I don't want to get canceled. Rex went black.
Right. Oh, I know what happened.
I guess I'll be a dice.
I know what happened. It's a good. Go ahead, man. Talk.
That was a sign.
I mean, I like the idea behind the class of giving younger women the opportunity to kind of work their way into racing and prove themselves on the same tracks where the men are racing. But I'd like to see women from this class move over and race with the men's class, because I understand having this class and having the opportunity to put a woman as a champion. But when Ana Carrasco won her championship in the men's class, like that to me is a championship. Like you beat everybody. You weren't the best of this small group. You were the best of all the group. And, I understand that, again, last year when this first came into effect, they were promoting this so much. They were pushing this so hard. And it was actually really exciting. Like we got some great racing. Like it's really tight racing because when you're racing on these smaller bikes, there's no breakaways. Once in a while you get like 2 top riders that might break away. But for the most part, it felt almost like Moto3 races where everything stayed pretty close. And then this year, it felt the same, but they weren't promoting it as much. Like I didn't see, just like TJ was saying, like I didn't see as much promotion this year. I didn't see as much lead up. Like even during the World Superbike broadcast, like they rarely ever spoke about it. Like it felt like an afterthought this year, whereas last year they really were promoting it the right way. And, I don't want some of the women in this class that do have talent to get mitigated to only this class. Like I want some of these women to get the opportunity to race, just racing the class. It's not a man's class. It's just a racing class, The same condition you're in, these men are in. The same bike that you're on, these men are on. And I don't believe in motorcycle racing, maybe at the superbike level where you do have to be physically strong to hold on to a 240 plus horsepower motorcycle for 22 laps. But I don't believe that a woman can't get into that condition either.
Right.
So if you have the skills and you are the championship, this year, why don't you get an opportunity? See if you can get an opportunity to race in super sport, or even race, in the 400 class. take that next step. I don't want this to just be the end of all these women's career.
Right.
They have to be able to leap from this to something else. And if there's no leap, and in World Superbike, the FIM, Dorna doesn't have that step to take women that are winning in this class and help them get into that next class. This is the same thing we talk about when we're saying there's no Americans in MotoGP or Moto2 or Moto3.
So do you think that there should be, I know you said they can move up to the men's class, but do you think, there should be, 1,000cc bikes option for women? As far as moving up, or do you think that
race the class, man? Just
race the class, because it is the world stage.
Yeah.
Outside of that class, moving to MotoGP, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
Or even some of these women getting the opportunity to race in Moto2. Somewhere, anywhere. Like, there has to be a platform where you can elevate from where you're at now to another class.
Well, Anna's in World Superbike. She was signed to the factory team in the Supersport class this year. So, and we've seen her in Moto3 in the GP class, but not Moto2. Mm-hmm. So I see what you're saying as far as getting there, but I suppose if there's a fast enough rider in the WCR class, I suspect the next option would be Supersport, and if Supersport can transition to Moto2 or World Superbike, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. For anything you do, in basketball, you might be in a double A or triple A, but there's always a next step to keep moving your progression along as an athlete. Like, do you want to play AAA for your whole life? You don't want to play AAA for your whole life. You want to keep, at least a real athlete wants to keep pushing themselves, competing with people that are a little bit better than them, keep pushing their level of play. And the same thing with motorcycle racing. If you end up racing the same 15 women for the next 5 years, this class will be dead. Because nobody wants to see the same 15 people racing each other all the time.
Right.
That's what we have Motor America for.
Yeah. And I do think that would change, because, we see the likes of Kayla and some of these other young ladies. I think that they're the future. Like we see these young, college female players moving into the WNBA now. I think they are the future. The question is, do they think of it as the WNBA for them, or do they think like, okay, as far as Kayla's like, man, I want to go to Motor America World Superbike. Motor America the Superbike class, and not go to the WCR, or the same thing in Asia or Australia or some of these other countries where females are racing in male classes.
Yeah,
for lack of a better word.
She's got the right mindset, because let's say Motor America came out with a ladies racing class. So Kayla will win every single race, hands down, because I don't see any other woman in the U.S. that's on her level right now.
It's build, train, race.
Build, train, break, and oil up the track.
But I don't want to. We have to say that class exists because it does. So.
I guess. But all right, take any of those women for build, train, race and put them on a V2, same exact bike that Kayla has. She'll wipe the street with them, man. Mm-hmm. Like, she has her mindset is, I don't want to race against a gender. I want to race in a class of bikes. Right. I don't want to be minimalized or marginalized to only racing women. I'm not here to race women. I'm here to race the best. Gotcha. And when I win and I beat somebody, I want to be the best. I don't want somebody to come up to me one day and be like, you're the best female rider racing against other females. Right. She just wants to say, hey, you're the best rider. Gotcha. Period.
So, okay, I see what you're saying. So we just need more female riders like Kayla.
Yeah.
And then the WCR would be dope. Well, not to say it's not dope now, but the level of competition would be higher, because we are seeing what she's doing in Supersport class and Motor America. So we
and I don't want these women that are in this class relegated to only being in this class. Like, I don't want other teams and other managers and other squads looking at them and not seeing them as an option, a viable option to go to Supersport or to go to another class. Because if they can do this in this class, they should get the opportunity to do this in another class. Because guess what? If this was all 15 to 18-year-old guys doing this, World Superbike or World Supersport teams will be looking at them as a next possible replacement for somebody on my squad.
Right. I see what you're saying. And we'll move on, but I'll say this. I think once the level of competition as far as the WCR gets to the equivalent, the rider, and I no disrespect to any of those riders, because I think Maria and a few of the Sanchez and a few of the top ones, they're savages.
Yep.
But for the bulk of the riders, they need to get their level up to where Maria, Kayla, Sanchez and those likes to really, open the doors. Like we see they have opportunities, because Maria's been racing in the European Championship, been racing in Moto E. Granted, Moto E's done at the end of this year, but nonetheless, they had enough skills to be able to reach further.
And a class like this at least gives women an opportunity to at least strive for that first rung.
Right.
Let me reach this first rung. If I can get to this first rung, then I can reach the next rung. Because before, the rung was kind of put out of their hands. We were only looking for men. We only want men. Now that women have an opportunity to display their skills, like this is where you display your skills, but this isn't your home. Right. This is just another step. And that's the way you got to look at it. This is another step in my journey to where I really want to end up.
Okay. I see that. We're going to move from there. Let's get into MotoGP. I agree with you though, on that. And, the future looks bright. Speaking of future, Raul Fernandez.
Send me your money.
Who's sending money? I think I was rooting for him all year.
But I said this weekend, go young.
Yeah. Well, that's a broad general statement there, so we'll give you that.
No, I said names. I gave names. I said Acosta, Aldeguer, Fernandez.
And I think I agreed with that.
All right.
Those are all names that I believe, because and they've been, we're not just flipping a coin. We've been seeing their progression over the whole season. Mm-hmm. And as we said, Bez had his 2-lap penalty. Mark is out. Martin is out. Pecco is struggling. He's the dude disguised as the dude playing the dude. It's tough for him right now, and I feel for him because as races at any level, and I haven't made it to MotoGP yet, so I know what the struggle is like. So it doesn't feel good at any level when you're a competitive person and you have to go through it. And Fernandez was going through it. He struggled, and Smitty and some of these guys said he shouldn't be in MotoGP, and so to see Fernandez take advantage of Bezecchi's misfortunes. What are your thoughts on that? And also just to how pissed is Acosta, because here's another young dude that got a MotoGP win before me.
Well, first of all, with Acosta, if you keep putting out that energy, these are results you're going to get. He needs to be more like Pecco, maybe just relaxed and, more thoughtful on the positive. Like his past results and how angry he shows is that's the energy you're going to get. And I don't care. Raul definitely been putting in his work. He's definitely a good rider. If I don't see him on a podium again for a while, I'm still satisfied, because just what Pirelli's been doing this year, it just proves to show that they have the right rider also, where they can still get the results. And it's good to see Trackhouse and the American team finally get a W out there. But it's good to see Raul, stay in front and had the potential to win both races. And put hats off to Bezecchi. That guy rode his ass off. The fact that he could just show that he's better than everybody out there right now is also a good thing to see. But to see Raul up there was nice.
No doubt. What are your thoughts, Lewis, on how Raul did Dainese? You know, it's a good look either way. Bez is on that as well, and who's number 2 now? Oh, Acosta. He's out. He's the other brand.
No, but the race podium was good. Digia, Fernandez, and Bezzecchi all shining in their shiny axial boots.
Exactly.
Probably rounded down to nothing because they wore through the soles.
You know, it's tough. It's tough life. What are your thoughts on Fernandez? This, you know, I can only imagine, like I was saying, like the struggle in anything in life, and to get something like this, and it wasn't. Yeah, okay. Bez had the penalties, but who knows, right? Because Raul was riding unbelievable. It's very surprising on one hand to see how he's doing, and because it's one thing to take the lead, it's another thing to finish and win. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean he did an incredible sprint race. So it wasn't just a one-off fluke. Like he had a really good sprint race, great result in the sprint race, coming in second. And then Bezzecchi having those penalties definitely helped him out, but he still had to circle the track 20 plus times at the front of the lead and hold it there. And it's a long way that he's come, because we spoke about it. When he came to MotoGP, he came in with a kind of a little S on his chest, like I'm the next big thing. Stand back. Here comes Raul Fernandez. Blah 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 blah. And then he just wah. Like
wah, wah, wah.
just struggled, couldn't finish the bike, a lot of crashes, couple of injuries, this and that, just couldn't really wrap himself around it. Was out of a job. KTM moved on. He was able to get picked up by Trackhouse, the American team with no Americans. Yay! Anyway,
yeah. We got a trophy, though.
We got a trophy. Maybe they'll let an American hold it at some point. And then, this year he started out slow again this year. Like it took him some time to get adapted to the Aprilia. But all this comes back to what we spoke about before. Is this the fact that Bezzecchi's been the leading or guiding light at Aprilia? Because if Martin was the guiding light at Aprilia, how much of the knowledge do you think would trickle down to Bezzecchi and to the other teams?
Right.
Is it because Bezzecchi's in that position and he's a little bit less self-conscious about who he is, that more information is trickling down? The bike's getting developed in a different way. Bezzecchi's riding style is the typical MotoGP riding style. It's not anything unique. Bezzecchi's not dragging shoulder, like Martin does. Like it's a little bit more of that common riding style, not the over extreme riding style. So they built a bike to help Bezzecchi, and it just happens to be that same bike also helps Fernandez.
Yeah.
So overall, I think it's helping Aprilia to build a more well-balanced bike than try to build a bike specifically to try to make Martin look like a superhero.
Yeah. No, I think that you're right. And as we were talking about it earlier, it has to do with Bez. And I don't think that if Martin was healthy, it might have been a different look for Aprilia this year overall, because there's no guarantee that Martin would have been able to develop the bike the way it's been developed. And Bez has been on the record to give Valentino Rossi credit for coming into Aprilia and spending Evelyn to help them sort the bike out. So that's pretty impressive when you're the owner of a Ducati team, and you got this rider that you'll sacrifice information for to help get better. So it might have been different. So Aprilia has, I think the whole Aprilia squad, and I'll throw it to Troy to talk about this a little bit. I think the whole Aprilia squad is different because Martin isn't there, and next year is going to be different because how can he take over that team again? I mean, he never had it because he crashed out. So how can he get it after what Raul has done and Bez has been doing?
I mean, so if you look at it as NBA players, like Martin's like the superstar that gets you what you really want. You want the regular players that won't complain and get you through and still will want to learn and continue. What I would expect out of Martin if he was part of there is for him and Bez doing exactly what Bez is doing, and for them to, as a manufacturer, be top 5 or top 10 and let it trickle down faster, opposed to like Lewis was saying, developing around Martin and him dragging shoulder and him making him look good, and then lose the direction of where it wants to go. So I think Bez is definitely the perfect example because he's not complaining. He's working hard. And he's showing it. And I really think it has to do with also him being competitive and able to follow Mark for a lot of the time that he was out there with Mark. And I think it showed him a lot and what was needed. And since Martin was around, he's the only one to really get feedback from, and it's all positive. So I think it has a lot to do with everything, and it's definitely a better fit. I think he's probably the number one rider, I would say.
I agree with that. Before we move on, has there been a better 2 long lap penalties than what Bez did?
Yo, my man. He went fast in a long lap than any of us would go in a normal lap. I was actually worried that he was going to, because, if you just clip the line at any point between the entrance and the exit, you got to repeat the whole thing again.
Yeah.
And I guess he practiced multiple times throughout the weekend doing this as fast as he could. And my man nailed it, man. Like the first long lap, he lost 3 positions.
Yeah.
And the second long lap, he only lost 3 positions and still finished in 3rd.
Right.
I mean, you added approximately 3.5 seconds to your overall lap time, and you still finished 3rd. Like that's impressive, man.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say he lost 3 because he was in first and he fell back
by a good amount.
Yeah, he fell back to 3rd and then he fell back to 6th.
Yep.
So he lost 5 positions.
5 positions, yeah.
So
yeah, he's moving.
What are your thoughts, TJ, on that, man? Pretty impressive.
Like I was saying, it's good to see Raul win, but Bezecchi was just showing that he was just better than everyone out there since we didn't have, all the top riders, minus Pecco when he was doing. But very impressive, to see someone to complete double long lap penalties, let alone just one, and very cleanly. And I give it to the coaches and all that stuff. So they planned that very well, the timing of it. Mm-hmm. I think I forget when you have to complete both of them, but at least the first one, I think you have to complete is it 3?
After 3 laps, you can start.
I thought it was the 5. Yeah.
So they don't count the first lap, but at the end of the first lap, they'll send you the warning to your bike, and then you have 5 laps to complete it.
Yeah.
But once you start the first one, you can start the first one on the 5th lap. You just have to complete the second one before the 6th lap.
Gotcha.
So they trust me, man. I paid real close attention. Like they planned this out to perfection. Get out front. You got 5 laps to try to get as big a lead as you can. Burn through as much tire as you have to. See if you can get it up to close to 2 seconds, which he did. He got it close to 2-second lead, and then run the first long lap, and then go out, run the lap, and come and run the second long lap. And by that time, the group should be pulled enough apart that you probably end up back in 7th place, and you can work your way back through.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Pretty impressive. I brought it up last week, Yamaha. I mean, Quartararo got pole, Jack was up there, I if there was a time to think about getting a tattoo, it might've crossed my mind in quality at the beginning of the races. When you're that fast for 1 lap or a couple of laps or 5 laps, that has to be frustrating, right? Because it's 1 lap, I'm better than every bike out here in Phillip Island on a track that we're the slowest. What are your thoughts on Yamaha? I mean, you can't feel bad, but you can't necessarily feel good either, right?
I mean, like it's like, you know, like all these polls all year long has shown absolutely nothing. Like, you know, I
Got
feel
some
so
watches.
bad
Got
for
some watches.
I feel bad for Quarterano. Like to start off first and just watch riders go by you every turn where you have to be cautious of how you lean in. It's just disappointing. Like one lap doesn't really, it means a lot, but like if you get pole, you have to like at least get top 10 or top 5 at least. Like, and for Jack Miller being home, I mean, he put on a good show for the most part, but it's just that bike, you know, it just didn't have anything. And I don't know if it was the wind, if they weren't ready for it. It's just pretty disappointing just to see what they were actually able to show to get the pole, but and then not show anything, absolutely anything for the race. So,
what are your thoughts, Lewis?
It wasn't a good look.
Yamaha. I know you still got your R6, so you ain't. I mean, you're not.
I mean, I've mentioned this so many times, man. Yamaha is so good for that one flying lap. They just can't. You can't maintain that pace over race distance. It's impossible to do qualifiers every single lap. And the one thing that I will say, there was a couple of times coming down the straight that I thought the Yamaha was going to get swallowed up, and it didn't get swallowed up. The motor was able to, not get beaten. But again, you have to keep this incredible pace that you can't just do without. You can't go an entire race without making a single mistake. Yeah. Even guys that look like they haven't made a single mistake, they made a ton of mistakes, but they're able to cover them but with Yamaha, you have to race at such a high level to get it to run that if you make that one mistake, you're in the kitty litter. You're in the crash truck. In the ambulance. You're anywhere except on the track finishing. And you can't keep going like that, man. Yamaha's gotta get this V4 to work the right way. And they gotta put enough power where these guys don't have to ride out of their skin to try to finish a race in the top 5, in the top 3. I mean, Quartararo can do it. There's no doubt about it. The dude has talent.
Right.
He just needs a bike that can do it lap after lap without him having to, push himself beyond the limits of reason. Right. Jack Miller was doing great. One mistake. That's it.
I know. That was. I mean, he got fourth in the sprint. He showed up and looked good, but it is a tough struggle, and you feel for these riders. Is Alex Rins back? He's looking like he's kind of back.
Sideshow Bob's not back.
He's in the neighborhood. He's circling the neighborhood.
I mean, I would love to see him back at the top because I do. I like him as a rider. I think his riding style is so silky smooth, and he's just he's got this old school type of riding style where his body's not super leaned over. He almost looked like he's in the wrong body position, but he makes it work. So I would like to see him back, but he's kind of at that point in his career where, I see him married, I see him with kids, I see this, I see that. I see him suffering through a lot of injuries, and it's taking longer for him to recover. And, is that father time kind of like, tapping on the door? It was like, look, man, you made your money. You're getting close to the end of this contract. Ride this contract out to the end and, go home.
World Superbike. Let's go.
He would. Honestly, man, I think he would do really well in World Superbike because his riding style in World Superbike, I think, would adapt really easily.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, he's not the first rider that's been plagued with injuries and have their career suffer by it. But that's the worst. I mean, it's one thing when you can lay it all out there and somebody's just better than you. But when your body doesn't work, and your mind is sharp, I feel for that dude because out of all these guys, like I said already, in Moto2, he was killing all these guys in Moto2.
Yep. He was definitely schooling them all, man. He was, put him to task. And just everything he's done, even in MotoGP, man, thinking about the way he beat people on a Suzuki.
Yeah.
Like
on a Honda.
Like not just beat him, but like like embarrassed him, made the Suzuki take corners and everybody else was like, yo, why are you over there? That bike shouldn't be there. And he could still put the bike in places where people would never expect. Like he could squeeze a bike on the inside of a turn in a space big enough for a credit card. Next to you, look, it's Sideshow Bob's next to you. Like, yo, how'd you get in there, man? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he continues to get better. But again, man, I'm really worried about him being in the twilight of his career, and I don't want to see him get carted away from the sport. I'd rather him leave the sport with his head held high, and he did a lot for the sport. He made an impact. He left his name. He's got his wins and everything else. I don't think on Yamaha he's going to be able to do much because if Quartararo can't do it on a Yamaha, I don't think anybody can on a Yamaha. And even next year when Top Rack comes to Yamaha, it's going to be a rude awakening. You're not on a great bike. And as great as a rider you are, this is the creme de la creme. These are the top 15, 20 best riders in the world. So it's not like you're going to bring something that none of these guys have never seen.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree there. I think people lose sight of that when they see you in 14th and 15th place.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give props to somebody that none of us thought would even do shit this weekend. Paul Espargaro.
I was just going to bring him up. Literally, dude, I was just waiting for us to wrap up in KTM because he got 10th and I believe 8th, ninth in the sprint.
Yeah.
So, and he was in Q2.
Yep.
I mean, you can't even say he's a part-time rider because he's been mostly doing TV.
Yeah, he's an announcer.
And
imagine Greg White going out and finishing 8th place in Superbike. Maybe Jason Pridmore, but Greg White, nah.
pretty impressive. What are your thoughts on what he's done? We've been loving the power of Ducati, but I mean, if KTM can figure out the corner in and the tire life, they would be hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty impressive to see what Paul can do for, just jumping out here occasionally, and the fact that, the last time we've really seen him competitive is when he had a big accident and he basically wasn't the same since, and then, became a test rider, but it's good to see him come back and be competitive and just put on a show because some of these riders need a whooping, just looking like, hey, Paul just passed me. I need to get my shit together. But it's also good to see he's out there trying to improve KTM and their package and to show certain things that can be done. But yeah, for being going to an announcer and then coming out and still being top 10 is an accomplishment to himself. And it's good to see a veteran out there still doing it.
Right. I will correct you. He's not a test rider. He's still a full-time rider.
Oh, okay.
He's just a filling guy. So he's still getting that full-time money.
Okay, cool. All right.
What are your thoughts?
I don't know why I thought he's a test rider.
Well, he's mostly testing and he's waiting for somebody to get hurt and then he'll come in. So that's why you see him in. And I think listen, if you it's tricky because I like to race, so I can't sit here and say if you offer me the money in part time, I'll probably still want to race. But it's not bad if you can have it. But he took. I mean, I think he had to have really liked KTM enough to sit here and say, "Hey, I'm not going to try to go somewhere else. I'll fall back and let these young guys shine. And if you need me, I'll come in because, more, other people are going to be thinking about themselves and want to ride and stuff like that, and maybe gone to a satellite, because he could have gone to one of the Ducati satellite teams back when he left. So one of them would have picked him up for sure. What are your thoughts, Lewis, on what Pole did? And should these? I don't want to bring up Bender, but if he can do it like this, why are not the full-time riders, as far as being on the bike all every round, not doing a better time and struggling because he made it look easy?
Yeah, no. In one of the Spanish interviews that he did, he said that he doesn't mind doing this. Like, he actually enjoys doing this. If the situation was right and there was a factory ride available to him, he would give it a lot of thought about coming back and being a full-time rider because he still keeps himself in shape. He still exercises. He still trains on a regular basis. He does everything he needs to do. And obviously the guy's in shape. I mean, he stepped in, was able to finish 9th and 10th against the 22, greatest riders right now in the world.
Yeah, he did better than his brother who just retired and Elias.
Elias is testing parts for Honda, man. He's lucky to just finish the race without the bike blowing up, man. Like at least Pole is on a legit race bike, like it's not and it's been doing well. Like the KTM has had marginal improvements throughout the year. I mean, one place it never has problems is power. Everybody says when it comes to power, it's the fastest bike in a straight line at any bike there is. And again, if they can tweak these couple of things that, don't make it as stable on the braking, don't make it as smooth in the turns, don't give it as much grip coming out of the corner, and doesn't tear up as much tires, if they can fix 90% of the bike, the other 10% is great.
They're making it look easy, though.
I mean, that's their job. You're supposed to make it look easy, but it's not. Do I want to see him back full time? Not really. I think he's in the perfect. I get paid to ride. If I'm not riding, I get paid to commentate. I get paid to do so many things. Why am I going to give up one check for this other check? I keep all the checks.
There you go. No, exactly. What are your thoughts on Honda? I mean, Luca Marini, I think he's close. I mean, I think if anybody's going to get a win on Honda, he might be the guy to do it first. I mean, I think Mir has the Costa complex, even though Mir's older. They're just doing a little bit too much. And it's biting them. And, and as you mentioned, Lewis, it only takes one mistake to put you down. But Zarco crashing hard. He's crashing violently, not even hard. He's crashing violently. It's brutal to see. But Luca looks good. Mir looks good. Mir's still crashing. But what are your thoughts on Honda and where they are? Because sometimes you gotta go slower to go faster.
I mean, yeah, Honda's obviously been slowly improving, and it's been showing. I don't know what it is with Zarco. Like he's such a good rider, but like he's the one that will go find to see what's wrong while everyone goes watches and just come back and tell me. Like he'll go hurt himself to figure out the problem. And I don't understand. And like Mir, like it was given that he was like probably gonna crash in the weekend.
Oh, Mir preferred gastroenteritis or whatever over crashing as much as he was crashing. Because if he wasn't crashing, crazy. He was sick.
But Luca has been looking very solid ever since he came from that 8 hour, and he's basically the focal point on what's going on with Honda. I mean, I feel like they were like I heard they were tweaking the engine a little bit to get a little more power. So it seemed like the engines were blowing up and stuff like that. But overall, that's like, as a rider, like Luca has been the best. He's getting solid results. But yeah, they're still figuring things out,
Mm-hmm. Dear Yamaha, wasn't trying to blow up that engine. Maverick. Engines blow, man. Come on. What are your thoughts, Lewis?
I mean, I think Honda is the next bike to kind of step into that top echelon on a regular basis. Zarco started out the year looking like he was going to be like the Honda pilot to beat and everything else. And I don't know exactly what round it was, but man, his suit sponsor must hate him right now because they are deep into the repair budget for fixing his suits at this point, man, because he is just torn up at least, 20 plus suits.
Yeah, whatever round after he won. So he won, then he followed up in second place. And after the second place, that's when he started crashing after that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I know that he made a complaint that he's not getting all the factory bits that he wanted. But I mean, the factory is getting plenty bits back. He's just bringing it back in a box. Here's all the bits for your bike because I'm crashing your shit every weekend, multiple times. Like, it's getting bad, man. It's not it's getting worse every single time he goes out.
Yeah.
Instead of getting better. So I don't know what happened, what the tweak is or something, but he's got to brush all this off and do a reset before he really hurts himself. Because, I mean, eventually these crashes catch up to you. And, he's not a young Thundercat. And it's going to start getting, every morning he's waking up, I'm sure he's getting more and more sore and it's lasting longer and longer. And even, you don't want to take too much Tylenol because then you end up with, what is it that you get from Tylenol?
You can't have babies.
Yeah, you can't have babies with Tylenol. But yeah, man, it's getting wild, man. And Marini, we've said it a bunch of times, man. Ever since he crashed at the endurance round, he came back a completely new rider, man. He healed up, and now instead of being this overly aggressive guy that's doing things and maybe pushing that little step, he's almost taking in a tempered approach, and that tempered approach is letting him slowly progress and see what he can do without, again, putting it in the kitty litter every weekend.
That bike showed him who's boss. He's like, I'm listening to the bike from now on.
Yeah. You know what? Instead of me telling the bike what to do, I'm gonna listen to the bike. And if it tells me it can't do that, I won't do that. I'll do something else because it doesn't like that. No. But look at his results, man. Yeah. Top 10, top 10, top 10, top 10, top 10. Like, he's reeling them off now on a regular basis. And he's really... the way it's going right now, he looks like he's going to be that guy that starts getting into that top 4, top 5 on a regular basis. And going into next year, he might be the Honda guy on the podium on a regular basis.
He might be, for sure. And, his mistakes, he's still keeping the bike upright. He's just losing positions.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're not passing him. He's making a mistake and then they're getting by. So it's like, you're going to have rounds where you make mistakes and you're going to have rounds when you don't make mistakes. So those rounds are going to come when he puts it all together. And again, that BR46 Academy is so tight. We're not telling those guys anything they don't already know. And they're going to figure it out. So I'm looking forward to it. We got 3 rounds left for the end of the season. Yep. I don't know how many of them is going to have Martin or Marquez or Vinales.
Marquez is out for the season.
Yeah. He might as well.
According to Spanish media, he's out for the rest of the season. Like, he's not coming back this year at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. Why come back?
Yep. And Martin, he might, the last time I checked, he might make it back for the last round of the season. But at that point, it's just to maybe test the bike the Monday after the season ends. But even if he comes back, like, what do you really expect Martin to do when he comes back? He's either going to crash or he's not going to finish on the podium. Right. He just hasn't had the time on the bike. And I don't know when he's going to have the time on the bike. He's starting next year way behind Bezzecchi. I mean, Bezzecchi just spent an entire year riding the bike, developing the bike. I mean, in my eyes, he's even behind Fernandez at this point. Fernandez has more laps on that bike and more knowledge of the bike than he does.
Yeah. And we have to keep in mind, Fernandez got the latest spec bike at Silverstone, and he started struggling even more there. I know we're about to get out of here. We haven't really mentioned Ducati outside of saying where did Gian Antonio finish.
That's one thing I want to say about Ducati.
Ducati got the championship, and I think they have the constructors as well. How important is it for Ducati to finish the season strong with 3 rounds left? I mean, we know Mark is not racing. Even if Pecco won the last 3 rounds, I don't know if it's going to change much there. But how important is for Ducati to be, instead of, 2 bikes in the top 6, we used to having 6 bikes in the top 8. I'm not saying it's time to flip over tables yet, but we didn't expect this from Ducati, Phillip Island, the way things turned out.
Not at all. I mean, that's the first time I ever seen the factory.
Cry.
Yeah, I'm seeing Manuel like shake his head or be so disappointed, walk away. It was kind of interesting. I mean, he reacts to everything, especially like the years back when Pecco was winning and stuff like that. So I think it's very important for him to finish on a high note. More the fact that even if they have like a test rider or a replacement where they can still, as a team, be a top 10, or so. Not just not having their best riders at their best, like Pecco and then Mark being out and just fall apart. So I think it's very important for them to finish the rest of the season strong. So
yeah, I hope so. I agree. I mean, it's Lewis. I mean, the numbers, do they add up?
I'm doing some numbers right now. These numbers don't add up. All right. So if this was, let's rewind this. If this was 2024 and Pecco was where he's at right now, Pecco would be looking for a job because last year, Enea Bastianini lost his job, finished the championship with 386 points.
And I did not agree with that. I was protesting.
Fourth place in the championship, 386 points. Pekka has 3 races or 3 events left. He's currently at 274 points. Oh. All right. He's 102 points behind where Bastianini was last year when Bastianini lost his seat.
Yeah. I mean, he got them double world championships. That's what's saving him. Come on.
Yeah. In motorcycle racing, there's a saying, what have you done for me lately?
I hear you. I hear you there, but he gets a pass because he gave Ducati there.
All right, so he gets a pass this year.
Yes.
Here's your pass. Next year, these same results, his ass is looking for a job in 27.
So listen, man. I hope they work it out. I hope they work it out because I think if Pecco goes somewhere else, he'll probably do well somewhere else. The question is, where are you going to go at the end of 2026 when you're going to start with a new
Honda?
I mean, he could go to Honda. He could. I mean, Luca's there. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody can't go to Honda now.
Everybody back to VR46 Honda again.
You know what I mean? So I hope they figure it out.
For Ducati, it's distressing because last year Ducati was first, second, and fourth in the championship, or first, second, third, and fourth in the championship.
Yeah.
All right. This year, that ain't the case, man.
No.
And I don't know if Ducati's alarmed by it because they did win the championship. And at the end of the day, if you're the champion, you're the champion. But this year, they're first, second, and fourth again. They're missing out in third. Aprilia has now snuck into that top 3 position.
Yeah.
And I don't see Bezzecchi giving that spot up. He's not going to catch Marquez. I mean, it's locked in. The 2 brothers have locked in first and second in the championship. No matter what happens from now to the end of the year, it's going to be a Marquez 1-2. But, how far beyond Pecco does Bezzecchi get at this point? Because Pecco he is just falling apart, man.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I'll let TJ chime in before we get out of here. But it's bad. I mean, he's like it's almost. I mean, I guess it's mental. But the crashes now. I mean, like if you're in 14th place and if you're in last place and you're crashing, like what are you watching? What are you looking at?
Looking at the trees, man.
I mean, just the fact that he's in the back of the pack, like that far back, and then still crashing is more of like he's looking for a savior somewhere, somehow, or he's trying to like prove like, hey, I'm trying to show y'all this is what's messed up and you're not listening. Like he's not showing no class act, no effort in my eyes. I feel like he can, I don't know. I mean, he's explaining what's going wrong. I feel like he has his glimpse here and there, but you got to have more dignity when you say, I'm a 2-time champion. Let me give it my all. I mean, you don't want to get hurt, but like,
I'll say
try to go back to the Mugello days when he actually kept up with Mark a couple laps and show that he still got it.
I'll say this in any sport, if your mind is not in it 100%, you're going to be tense, and a little bit of tense is not good on a rigid bike already. And that's that. So it like once mentally, if you're riding stiff, forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. When he went down, like it was kind of strange how the Ducati kind of just went down in the corner, like the way he lost it. So that's like some questions to ask, but it's just still like, just knowing what he's capable of. Sometimes you don't get, like when you get to that level, it's like you can't give any excuses at certain points of time.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I'll say this last thing. We'll leave it at this. Chantra outperformed Pecco in both races.
Crazy.
If Chantra beats you, that double world title.
Oh, come on. Don't do that.
It's tarnished, man.
Come on. Don't do that. Let's not listen. But it is pretty bad. And, we've seen other riders overcome it. We all yelled at Digia, and Digia figured it out. You know what I'm saying? We yelled at Raul. Raul is figuring it out. For Bagnaia, I mean, he was crashing out on a 19 bike and an 18 bike and stuff like that, but he had a really good run. And, there's obstacles in life, man, and this is one of them, and it's tough to watch. I mean, obviously, it really is. It's tough for him to go through it, but it's definitely tough to watch because I think there's much we don't know, and I don't know if I still put a lot of the blame on Ducati because they're kind of letting them eat a lot of the crow. And for a guy that brought you 2 titles, a little bit more outspoken would be nice, and a little less smiling when Mark win would be nice.
They should definitely speak up more for Pecco, possibly just to take the tension off of him, like to protect him a little bit. Like I agree with you on that. It's kind of like just because he's a 2-time champ, like he's not doing well. The spotlight is on him and Mark, and they're battling because they're factory riders, and it's hard to take in. We're all human, and he's taking a lot, Oh, yeah. There's no one else really that can interfere. Like Martine's out, and, there's no one else to take that action. They're not really protecting him to...
Yeah, and I thought some of us on the show was brutal. The commentators lately, they it's like, he owe y'all money or something.
They must be listening to me because they're letting go.
Oh, dude,
yeah. He's like watching his footage of him crashing and commentating about it. I'm like, are you serious? Like, not before his race, you know what I mean? So like.
No, they definitely they're giving it to him. It's not an easy one for him, and nobody's letting him off the hook. So it's tough. And like again, we'll see what happens next year because this year is over. Anything else before we get out of here, guys, that you want to say?
No, that's it.
Back-to-back weekends.
Back-to-back
race weekend.
Let's see what happens next weekend. Another, do we have any predictions? Is the last thing I would say.
Aprilia, Ducati.
Aprilia, Ducati.
I'll say back to the young boys again. I want to see. I see Bezzecchi back up there, but it would be good to see Aprilia back to back again. Ducati. I don't want to be boring, but Alex Marquez is probably going to be in the mix. So
I think it's going to be Aprilia, Ducati, KTM. I think it'll be a good mix this next race.
Yeah. No, I can see that. We obviously we can always go on, but the last few races, the rounds, the different manufacturers mixing it up and stuff like that. I didn't have a problem when all Ducati was winning. It still looked competitive to me, but it's nice when you see different colors in the top 6 spots and they're dicing it up. So I hope next round, if it's the young boys and they're doing what they're doing as they should, it should be fun to watch as well because they're definitely taking chances.
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good. My name is Rex45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. You got TJ with 2 Wheels and Coffee. You got the real Luis Ortega, the numbers guy. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.